Hello in TV land, it's your boy Freelancer Joe, and it is once again that time of week when we have Drinks with Joe. Yes, it is a weekend review because if you want to get someplace, it helps to pay attention to where you've been. Although I believe for those of you that have been following me, it looks like I really haven't been going anywhere new to begin with. But hey, that's why we do this. And let me try and get this right. It's not really that hard. Okay, right. I'll pour myself that drink while I ask, how are you all doing this fine and glorious? Is that too loud? I think that might be just a smidge too loud. There we go. That's better. As I was saying, or as I was asking, how are y'all doing on this fine and glorious and wonderful Saturday afternoon? It is currently gloomy and drizzly outside. A little off-putting considering it's now, at least for those of us in America, what we would consider to be the holiday season of Christmas. But it is still rain in November, so I'm pretty cool with it. Although, to be honest, it's making me very little energy. I don't know if it's the rain or if it's just I'm getting kind of a little worn out. Maybe it's the cooler weather. Hard to say. I'm actually heavily tempted after I'm done recording this and uploading it to whip out the electric blanket and then take a nap. Which is not a bad thing to do on a gloomy and drizzly Saturday afternoon. Especially when you don't have anything else to do. Well, there's always something else to do. But I have neither the motivation nor the routine set up correctly for discipline to kick in to make that happen. But we shall see. Anyway, thank you for joining me, by the way. Just in general, but if you've been religiously following my episodes, not that I would say that you should religiously follow my episodes as much as I would like you to, because I am but a man. Closer to a demigod than man, but still just a man. Humble enough to admit that. But yeah, yesterday's Gaming with Joe episode was fairly lackluster, in my opinion. So I have to thank you for bearing with me for that. I think it's I've been really hoping that my buddies would go ahead and buy the Forsaken DLC for Destiny 2, and they finally broke down and did it. So not that I've been heavily encouraging them to, so I don't have an obligation to kind of assist them, but it's one of those things where the game goes a lot better if you have people to play with, which from a gaming design point is not my favorite approach. See, for me the game by itself should be fun and accessible, and then having people to play with should make it more fun. And it's possible that that could be the highlight. But the way Destiny's set up is that it's multiplayer first, and multiplayer first. I mean, you're not going to get the most out of it unless you're doing a multiplayer. And even with my buddies, that's two other guys, that lets us form a fire team of 3, which is for most activities, but we can't do the raids because raids require a fire team of 6. So yes, I know, I could LFG, look for a group, or I could join a bigger clan, but the reason I like playing with my buddies is because I like playing with my buddies, because they're my buddies. I'm not the most social person, so going out to find other people to play with, it's just not my thing. So anyway, that's why I took the time, even though it was in my Gaming with Joe session, to actually hang around with my buddy online and help him out. What was I going to do instead? I was actually just going to do a Flashpoint anyway, so yeah. But hopefully, well, normally he was just off Friday, so that's probably why he was online. Basically, as soon as I logged on, he sent me a message, so I was kind of on the hook. Most of the time we would only be playing Friday nights or Saturday nights anyway, so I don't expect that to be happening again until maybe the end of the month, if they take a Christmas vacation and have some time off. Although I have to consider what I'm going to be doing during my Christmas vacation, or even what that's going to be like. Not that I'm going to take a vacation, I'm just going to take some time off. But how much time off to take? Well, we shall see. Excuse me for a moment while I'm still doing my media conversion. Almost done with this thing, which means I still have 2 more to go. Actually, I was kind of tearing through it now, but these last set of discs look like they might take a while. Actually, that's kind of a concern for me, because once I'm done recording this, I still have to do the post-processing. Ooh, such a big word. I feel like I'm all fancy and a Hollywood type. But my video editing software does not like it when, I don't know. I know it doesn't like it when I have the external hard drive connected, but if I still have my disk reader connected, I don't know how it's going to behave. But if I may repeat myself, and I've been repeating myself a lot, we shall see. We shall see. Of course, even then, even once I've gotten through these binders, there's still a bunch of the Blu-ray discs. Actually, all the Blu-ray discs. I haven't even touched those yet. And you know those are going to take longer because they have so much more information on them. I really should have made the switch to digital much sooner. Years ago when I initially thought about it, I didn't really consider the trajectory. I always consider the trajectory of my life, but I didn't actually envision going to a trajectory where I would try to minimize as many physical belongings as possible. Well, that's hopefully a lesson I'll be able to impart upon any children I have, if I have children. Planning on it. But, you know, well, I'm planning on it, and my honey bunny's planning on it, but, again, who knows how the trajectory goes. Alright, so we are halfway through the first half, so that's actually a quarter way through, for those of you who can do math, and who aren't bored with math. So let's dig in. So the first area we're going to cover, and again, I'm looking to the right because I have once again typed out a brief outline of points that I want to cover. My freelancer activities. So on the content-wise, well, I'll get into that later. Content-wise, if you've been following the videos, you've seen me working with a React calendar. Big calendar, I believe is what it's called. And so we added the library to my UI, my demo UI, and we got a demo up and running. Then we created a Amazon Lambda that talks to an Amazon DynamoDB table to store events for the calendar, and then we set up a gateway to talk to the Lambda, which then talks to the DynamoDB table, and then we hooked up my UI demo to make the call to the gateway, which talks to the Lambda, which talks to the DynamoDB table. So that's a nice string there, but it's still not completely done because even though my UI is pulling the events from the gateway, which pulls it from the Lambda, which pulls it from DynamoDB, it's not actually displaying those events in the calendar, and I still need to modify the calls that the UI makes to specify which month it's trying to get events for. After that, next steps. Well, I mean, if I want users, the obvious thing would be to have within my UI a way to actually add events. But then if they have access to that, then I mean I could just go directly to the DynamoDB table. That said, clients, potential clients might not want to access DynamoDB directly to add those events. So I could do that. That's one possible thing. The other possible thing is to go ahead, and one of the reasons I went with going with the calendar functionality was because it both had applicability to future clients as well as to myself. So I could go ahead and integrate it into my own particular site. So I'm not sure about that. And then the other option would be for me to start doing more work with Vue.js on camera as opposed to off camera. I'm not sure. Well, obviously I'll finish off the event calendar as it is. Probably won't do the input though. I mean, there's already a UI to add events, so I don't really see much of a need for it. Yeah, I'll probably just do the finishing the demo integration and then start an integration into my site. So that's that. Now on to the actual, business side of things, which is the whole point of Freelancer Joe to get clients. Yeah, nothing, not much. I just no forward momentum on that at all, and there probably won't be. I kind of rationalize. How many sips have I had of this? 2, 3? 2, I think. I am just rationalizing it. More than likely, obviously. But in some cases, sometimes rationalizations make sense. I mean, it's the holidays. There are people that are going to want to have work done, but there's a smart way to do things, and if there are other things to focus on, I can probably focus on other things. And we'll talk more about this when I get into the work side of things, but I will be starting my new project soon for work, and that's going to require schedule adjustments. So I can't really commit to new clients until everything kind of settles down from there. So there's that, not being able to fully commit, 1, and 2, how many clients are actually going to be out there looking for stuff. So I guess maybe it's fine for now. I mean, it's still just, as long as I get those other things sorted out, the schedule adjustment and expanding my technical skills, I mean, it's not a big step forward, but it's still a tiny step forward. Now, the one catch might be reaching out to my Brohan. I think I talked about him in the last Drinks with Joe episode, but he's definitely in the same area that I'm at. So I know a lot of it's one of those things where, since our interests will be aligned, not just the freelancer side of things, but some more longer term goals, we could probably assist each other. And then again, I've worked with him before on something similar, and I guess it really depends on where he is at in his own point in life too. So we shall see. But I get the distinct impression that he is much more in line with where he's going, is a lot similar, or very, very similar to where I'm going in the future. So I should reach out to him. Plus, in general, you want to stay in close contact with your family anyway. And that's one aspect of Freelancer Joe that he's very, very deficient at. I know, shocking to admit that Freelancer Joe has deficiencies. Oh, deficiency is a strong word. It is not one of my greater strengths. There we go. There we go. I like that a lot better. It's definitely, yeah. I don't have deficiency. I just have things that are not as strong as my stronger strongs. As my stronger strengths. That seems kind of redundant, isn't it? That might be a little redundant. Well, but yeah, there's that. Let's see. So we can go into training next, but we are almost at the 15-minute mark, which means it's about time for me to break before the camera cuts out again. Cuts out for whatever reason. I keep saying it, like I keep saying many things. One of these days I'll figure out why it shuts off after about 15 minutes. But you know what? The 15-minute mark is good because it lets me insert my intermission meme. So we'll break for that, and I'll be back in 10 seconds. And we are back. Is it playing something? Hold on. Alright, there we go. Now it's playing. Yeah, I hope you like that meme. Not that I've touched whiskey in, it's probably been over a year at least since I've touched any whiskey. It's just a shame. I really like whiskey. Why did I stop with the whiskey? I just generally felt that, well, I mean, not that alcohol's really good for you anyway, but a few too many carbs in it. A few too many carbs. Maybe it's just the psychological thing that vodka is a lot clearer. But yeah, I think that's generally why I stick with the vodka. We'll see. I mean, I have a mental place full of some good, nice whiskeys. Is it whiskey or bourbon? Right, whiskey, yeah. Oh, well. I'm sure the connoisseurs will be having a conniption fit right now, but, well, I'm not a connoisseur of much myself. But it does make for funny memes, so hey, we'll go with that. Let's see, we covered freelancer, right? Right, so let me scroll on down here. Oh yeah, training. The physicality. I mean, as I've mentioned before, looking this jack takes effort. And it's not been a good week for maintaining my jackness. Yeah, that, well, it's easy to blame the pizza that I had last weekend. But more likely it was, well, yeah, so the pizza was, well, basically at the end of the week, I consider Friday the end of my physical week because that's when I do my binge meal. But the end of this Friday, which I think is week 4 of my training cycle, was the first week of the previous training weeks that I was not able to make any progress on weight loss. And it's easy enough to, again, blame the pizza. But, yeah. So, I mean, I was still basically, I hit the high after the pizza, and I was going down, 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 down. But was not able to recover before yesterday's end time, i.e. my next binge/cheat meal. So that's not so bueno. Not entirely unexpected going into the holiday season, but very unfortunate because it's not one of those holiday type meals. You know, it was just a convenience thing because I went and got my car serviced. So I've had to restrain my cheat meal this Friday. Oh, I still cheated, but not quite as extravagantly as I would normally hope to, which is just as well because for the holiday season, I mean, let's recap, or let's count down the things that are going to kind of throw me off. So, I mean, we still have my performance review lunch. I mean, that's going to throw things off. That should be happening this week. Yeah, I really hope so. Although I don't know what kind of performance review that's going to be. So it's basically my current boss on this project. But then next week, or the following week, I start the new project. So that's going to be weird. Normally they, you know, not that they give me any constructive criticism because there's nothing to criticize. But, you know, you ask, are there things that you can do differently? And, yeah. It's going to be kind of hard starting in a new one. But we'll cover that in the work stuff. So the lunch review, and then next weekend I will be recording from my secret location. So that's going to throw things off because instead of doing my cheat meal on Friday, the cheat meal gets pushed to Saturday. So that shortens the time frame for me to lose weight after the cheat meal. And then odds are when I start the new project, they're probably going to want to do the whole, you know, lunch with coworkers thing to kind of get to know each other. Although, I don't think I've done this on the last 2 projects. No, I take that back. We didn't do it this last project, but that's because, well, reasons. And then there's the company holiday party, which is on the 15th. Although I haven't made a decision yet about whether or not I want to do that. Because that's on the 15th, but the new season of Voltron comes out on the 14th. So, that's a tough one. Socialize or binge watch Netflix? Well, for some people it's not a tough choice, but for Freelancer Joe it is. Especially because, I mean, that's also a chance to spend some more time socializing with the new people from my project, as well as catch up on people from my prior projects. So, we'll see. And then, there's finally Christmas week, which, I mean, you know, Christmas Eve gonna eat good, and Christmas Day gonna eat good, and that also coincides with week 8 of my training cycle, which means I get to rest, so it's gonna be dicey. Especially because, well, I mean, that all adds up. And I think I saw the link on the Drudge Report which said the average American is going to gain 6 pounds over this holiday season. And I just snicker at that because that's child's play. I can easily do 6 pounds in a day. 15 to 20 in a week. And that's still with just 1 meal a day, believe it or not. Freelancer Joe can pack it away. But yeah, so that's the tough thing on the dietary approach. And as for injuries, it's a little different. So I've been saying that I didn't look like I'd been getting any training injuries, which is still mostly true, I want to say. Now, the right shoulder's been a little iffy, but that's kind of an old thing that I've had for a long time. It's been quiet, but for some reason it's popping up more now. So that's a little hinky. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. I suspect that's because I've worked in shoulder presses back into my routine, which is why it's kind of saying, hey, wait a minute. Then the right knee, a little dodgy. I've commented on that before, but this week it was better than the previous 2. So I'm not too concerned about that. As long as I'm careful, that's fine. But I will say my lower back this morning, I mean, it doesn't feel like an accumulation thing. It feels like I did something wrong yesterday, and it's saying, yeah, be careful. Not be careful, it's like you did something wrong. Fortunately, today's a rest day, so I don't think, I'm hoping I'll have enough time to recover. And then tomorrow's squats, so that's always a little dangerous too. But generally on squats, it's usually my knees that I have to watch out for, so we'll see. We'll see. Well, I'm saying that a lot today, aren't I? But at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes lots of things you can take note of, but if it happens, it's gonna happen. So in that case, that's why I say we'll see. I mean, I can't really not train. I mean, I could, but that defeats the whole purpose. I mean, that's a twofold impact, really. I mean, one is the physical degradation of not training, and 2, it eats away at discipline. It's like, you know, once you have the discipline and you have a momentum and you're going forward, but if you just stop, I mean, you lose that momentum and it's hard to get it back. So, unless you have motivation, and that's such an ethereal thing. So, let's see, just, I did it again. I think that's my, You know, people have the ums as to fill the pauses. We'll see, that's my I may need to come up with something a bit better. Maybe I'll just make a face. I don't know. Okay, ooh, done, 9 minutes. Alright, so then there's work. So this is just finished my second to last week. Before I start the new project, unsurprisingly, it was quiet. Oh, there, I got to use instead of we'll see. Most people were just planning for the holiday, so they were doing that. And as for myself, because I don't have anything to do on my current project, there was nothing else to do. Just kind of get ready for the new project. did miss the performance lunch review. Still not sure if I missed that or if it was just a miscommunication with my boss. I think what actually would have happened is he was out. But he swung by the office to get me for the lunch. However, I had gone to another location because there were some things I needed to take care of. So we kind of missed each other. I expect we'll clearly have the lunch this week. Which is also why I'm restraining on my binging, or my cheat meal. I say binge. I use binge a lot too. I don't have the healthiest attitude with food. So it really is a binge. It's not a cheat, it's a binge. It's a straight binge. It's my attitude towards food is my attitude towards Netflix. I don't necessarily go for quality stuff, I just go for the quantity. And there are very specific things I like large quantities of. However, next week's going to be very busy at work. Not for work per se, but just getting ready. Although the first item here is clothing, and that's not really going to be something I do at work so much as Freelancer Joe has very loose standards when it comes to business casual. But the new location, new project, I likely will have to dress up. I'm sure to those who wear the suits and the ties, it's not really dressing up, but for Freelancer Joe, it is still dressing up. Still need to continue familiarizing myself with Vue.js. I did finish that other tutorial, but that was focused more on integrating it with Webpack. So now I'm going through the official Vue.js overview, and it's good, but it's very low level. It's pointing out syntax and basic structural issues, but it's very dry. And it feels like there's not applicability to how I'm going to do things. So I'm a little concerned about it. My guess is, I mean, I'll go through the entire thing and learn like one line of code or two, but until I actually use it in a full-fledged example, that's going to be tough. So I'm hoping I can finish off at least the official overview tomorrow, and then starting next week go into some more useful examples. And that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of considering doing my content videos on, like, say, converting one of my React templates to a Vue template. That would definitely allow me to get a much quicker grasp of how to work things. But we'll see. Other than that, gotta finish cleaning out the office. I've actually cleaned out most of the junk. At this point now it's just keepsakes, as well as there's still lots of memes I have on my desktop at work. I need to I need to make sure I get those off, or copied. And then there's some paperwork. I'm pretty certain I had it completed months ago. But I need to go over them again to make sure they're ready to submit. That's the one advantage of the new project is there's a process that I need to go through, and it's been kind of stalled on the current project, but there's more juice to make it happen on the new project, which is, for me personally, the biggest benefit of starting this new project. And then there's the other benefit of shaking things up. You don't want to stagnate. And I do strongly suspect that I'm stagnating. And then the final thing I need to take care of is I actually need to schedule the first day. I know the first day that I start, but you know, what time to show up and where to go and who's going to meet me, who's going to show me around. And that kind of thing needs to be worked out. So, yeah. But that's it for work, and we are almost at the 15-minute mark again, which means it's time to wrap it up. Thank you for joining me. Cool kid words about liking and subscribing. Maybe suggestions for drinks. Not that I will change, but I hope that you had wonderful drinks, or whatever your particular poison is. Yeah. I hope you join me tomorrow. Hope you will join me tomorrow when we pick back up with the calendar stuff. And that you have a wonderful rest of this Saturday or whatever, and that until the next time you join me, that you take care and God bless.